Yeah, my name is Wunmi. I just recently graduated with my master's in health psychology, and I studied psychology in my undergrad. So I wanted to go into the mental health field with adolescents, which is like teenagers, young adults. I wanted to be a clinical psychologist, so I knew I had to take a certain route to get there. But then to be a clinical psychologist, sorry, the route is very long. So I thought, okay, let me just like do research and see what else I can fit into in the same field. Because with psychology, that's one thing I love about it. It's such a broad field, so you can go into anything and you can get into it in different ways. It's not like a law, or if you want to become a doctor, a lawyer or a doctor, there's specific routes. With psychology, it's quite different. So I kind of did research, and then I've decided that I wanted to be a psychotherapist, which is kind of like a clinical psychologist, but not like the same rigorous training and studying. So yeah, so essentially I want to be a psychotherapist with mental health adolescents. For me, going into uni, I just had my head locked in, like, okay, I'm just going to focus on uni. In comparison to like other people, when they go to uni, it's like, okay, I'm going to like live my best life, I'm away from my parents. But I was already a wayward girl before uni. So it's like, for me, it's kind of like I've been there, done that. So it's more of like partying. I've been going raves before 18, 16. When you have older cousins that's got like provisionals and that, and you kind of look like them. So it's kind of like that. So me going to uni was more of like, I just kept myself to myself, and that's kind of like how it was. I can count how many times on my hand I went raving. And I went to Birmingham, where like Birmingham was like the party place. So I started off studying psychology with sociology, and it was more of the psychology and less of the sociology. So I think it was 70% psychology and 30% sociology. And I picked sociology because I did that in college, for my A levels, and I was really good at it. So I thought, okay, let me just do a mix, because I've always wanted to do psychology because I really like the course. But then I didn't really like it in uni. I think it's just my uni. I don't think they're really like, that's a major for them. So I got into second year and I changed to sociology for criminology. The things with criminology, I really enjoyed it, but because I entered it in second year, there was a lot of fundamentals that I didn't know, and it kind of merged in, so I didn't really do well. So I had a hiccup. Second year was like stress for me, and as well like personal life as well. A lot was going on with like family members and stuff like that. Kind of like nearly lost my dad and stuff like that. So, and I broke up with, I don't even know if I should even consider him as a ex-boyfriend, because he was wayward. But yeah, I was with him for like 4 years, so I was dealing with that drama. So a lot was going on, and I didn't really do well with my criminology. And I think, like what I said before, it got to do with the fact that I didn't know the fundamentals, and that kind of merged in. So I didn't really do well. So like they kind of said I failed it. Even when it came to the resit, I didn't even like take that seriously. And I think maybe because I haven't experienced it before, so stuff like extenuating circumstance, wasn't aware. And I think that's something that, when you're going into uni, really know your uni. If that's a uni that you know you're going to stay in and you're grounded in, you need to know terms and conditions. If anything happens, what's available and what help is there and support is there. Because I think if I was aware of how to go about getting an extenuating circumstance, because I felt like I really needed it, especially with what was going on in my household, then I think I would have been okay. Now, I'll say I would have been okay because I'll explain now. So they kicked me off the course because I failed the criminology modules. Now, the woman that kicked me off, she was literally new into like the head of the module, the course, and she's a bitch. So she kind of kicked me off, but then she gave me an alternative. So there was this new course that was being launched. So it's kind of like you pick the modules that you want in any social sciences, so like psychology, sociology, or criminology. So I can pick any modules within those fields, but the only thing is, it's not accredited by the British Psychological Society. Now, to become a clinical psychologist, you need to have done an undergraduate course that's accredited by BPS, which is short for British Psychological Society. So for me, it was kind of like, shit, it's either I start uni again or I firm this. So I will not be graduating with a psychology degree, I'll be graduating with a social studies, social science degree, which is not accredited. And I was like, I was really, it was a mad thing. But anyway, I decided to pick all my modules in psychology. So I was still like with my friends and stuff like that. I was still doing the same course modules and everything, like assignments, exams, but I just won't get I won't graduate with a psychology degree that's accredited by PPS. Now listen, the way God works, I think faith is what literally kept me going. Now the way God works is, listen, what's for you is for you. So no matter what anybody says, listen, is invalid. So in my final year now, with me going into this new course, I had a personal tutor. I had to train my personal tutor because the one that she was shit. She was in line with the woman that kicked me off the course. So I was like, fuck you kind of thing. So I kind of like requested for a new personal tutor, and she was just amazing. So when I finished my final year, she was like, I'm eligible to accredited course, so I had to go through graduate membership. I had to call them up. If you're not in psychology, all of this will sound like gibberish to you, but I had to call them up, and then they were like, yeah, I'm eligible, so I just have to give all the evidence that, you know, I've done a little bit of work experience in like working with young children and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm in the process of that now. So with that means that although that my undergraduate course is not accredited by BPS, I can get a graduate membership which kind of covers me, so it's kind of like my cloak. So yeah, so I'm in the process of that. Going on in my undergraduate, but I think that's why me graduating, it was like I had to really celebrate, because listen, it's not easy. Not a lot of people finish, and trust me, I understand, because uni can really shag you. But I just think as long as you stick to the goal, and obviously if you have a faith, so if you believe in God, if you believe in Allah, if you just have a faith that just keeps you going, keeps you sane, I think, trust me, rely on that, because that's what's going to give you the strength to continue and go forward. Because for me, it was like, oh my God, do or die. Literally, do or start uni again. Who's starting uni again? Because, you know, we all know how student finance can be. So it was like that. From like beginning of second year, I started working with this charity company that works with like families of autistic children. So I did that for like the rest of the time I was at uni. So that kind of really helped in terms of like the basis of my experience. Then I got a job, so that was voluntary work. And then in third year, I got a job it was just like working in a hospital, but like a ward hostess. It wasn't anything to do. I just needed paid work to keep me going, especially like going back to London. I needed like work to keep me going. So I did that. But I went to my master's straight after. So because I was so close with the charity company back in Birmingham, they kind of like introduced me to the London branch. But the way they operate in London is not the same. So I kind of had to just leave working with autistic children in Birmingham, and so then I just focused more on the ward hostess job that I was in a private hospital that I was doing in Birmingham. And then I managed to continue it. Got back to London, so did it through summer, and then obviously I told them that I'm starting my masters in September, so I won't be able to commit to that. And they were dickheads, so they kind of just stopped giving me work. So I didn't have work. I wasn't really working from like October to about May 2018. So I was applying for bed. So I'm doing my masters. Bearing in mind I'm commuting, so every week I'm going to uni. But thank God I was only in like 2 days a week, and because I had friends in Birmingham, I was able to stay over and stuff like that. So it was a calm setup. So sometimes, because I drive, it kind of helps. So sometimes I might decide to drive to Birmingham, and more time I took train. So I'll be waking up at like 4 a.m. in the morning and all of that stuff. But it was a pattern. Like I had it patterned, and I didn't mind it. So I was doing that every single week for like, I wouldn't say a whole year. Yeah, it was kind of like a whole year, because my master's was a whole year. So I did that. But so the fact that I wasn't working, it helped in that sense. But obviously, because I'm somebody that's always been working since I was 17, I've always had a job. I've relied on myself, and it was kind of hard. So I had to rely on my parents for a little bit. And I tried to save, so that kind of helped as well. Plus I have a car, so I have to maintain that as well. But because I'm at home, it's easier for me to like just maneuver myself. So I was applying for bare jobs. A lot of the jobs I was applying for, I kind of kept a high standard because I've got a degree now, so I'm gonna try and use it. So a lot of the jobs I was applying for was like related to what I want to do. So I was applying for a lot of mental health care assistant jobs in the NHS, and NHS, listen, is so hard to get into. And then I got 2 job interviews in January for February. So the interview was in February, and they were back to back. So one was on Monday, one was on Tuesday. I still even have it there on my calendar. Yeah, so one was on a Monday, one was on a Tuesday. The Monday one I didn't get because you have to do an exam, and I flopped the exam. The Tuesday one, let me tell you something. When I say, when God says something is for you, it's for you. The Tuesday one, they gave me the job on the spot. And listen, I was so thankful. Listen, my heart, I was like, God, thank God. And my dad was in hospital then. Again, my mum went off back home. She had business to pattern. So it was like, that was kind of like a breakthrough. And I was dealing with a lot with my current boyfriend at the time. Yeah, his current boyfriend at the time. So it's like, it was a lot. Like, oh, let me tell you, that was like a breakthrough. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be getting money soon. But you know, with NHS, like, DBS is real, like CRB check is real. So that took from February to May. Like, it took that long. But it's good that I waited that long because I was still doing my master's full time. So God timed it beautifully. The day that I started is the same week. The day that I started work is the same week I finished all my lectures. So all what was left was assignments. We didn't have no exams in my master's, thank God. So the timing was beautiful. So the time that I was starting, and the first week of me working is when I tried to get a lot of work done because my manager was so nice. So she made us just come in for one day, and like we had to do a lot of like online training. So she said, okay, come in for the one day, and the rest of the week use that week to do the online training. So I was trying to juggle that and trying to get a lot of my assignments done at the same time. But it kind of did clash from May to like July, because I would like cancel shifts and stuff, and because it's a new job and I want to prove to them that I'm like, I really want this, but uni's still there because I still got assignments to do. It was a lot. But and then it hit rock. Listen, the way it just slapped me is when they said I have a meeting because my attendance was really rubbish, bearing in mind that I just started. So and it's good to have really understanding managers because that's what helps me. So in a meeting, I just kept it G'd with them. I said, right, like, listen, I'm still doing assignments, and I had to lie a little bit. Like, I'm going in still to see with my supervisor, my dissertation and all of that stuff. And I had dissertation. Oh my God, I need to tell you a lot about that one. So I explained to them, and they were like, you know what, if you need emergency, just tell me. Like, my manager, just tell me. I swear down. So what I was doing is, she even allowed me to bring my laptop to work. My work pattern is 12-hour shifts. So if I do long days, I'm starting at 7:30 in the morning, finishing at 8 p.m. If I'm doing night shifts, I'm starting at 7:30 p.m, finishing 8 in the morning. So basically, majority of my day is gone. When you lot are still sleeping, I'm up, getting ready, working. When everyone's finishing work, I'm still at work. Do you get it? So it's like, I don't have time to do assignments. So the fact that she allowed me to do this emergency thing, it was calm. So I had that pattern, and I was able to like take emergency. So that was what kind of favoured me, and I kind of did well in that. So I thank God for that. Now with my dissertation supervisor that I was allocated from the beginning, she decided to up and leave midway of our course. Now I was now allocated to a new supervisor, but like I said, thank God, God was really with me throughout this whole course. My new supervisor was my personal tutor, so we already had that relationship, and she kind of knows my field. But the thing is with that, everything that I've planned with my first supervisor, the new one is gonna tweak and do it to her understanding. So it's kind of like mad. So even when the old one left, the new one's gone on holiday, and that week she went on holiday is when a certain proposal was due. I had to wait for her to come back, then have a meeting with her, then change what she basically would make sense of it. So I was behind schedule. Then my ethics, that was due in May. I submitted mine in July. So it was literally crunch time. Submitted mine in July, and I was really shitting myself. Like, I was thinking, what the fuck? My last assignment was due in May. So it took a whole month. Bearing in mind, we're not in uni anymore. So all I'm doing is work, full-time work. And, oh, I don't know if I mentioned my role. So it was mental health care assistant. So, yeah, it was a lot. I'm working with mental health patients, so it was a lot. So I'm now like shitting myself, and I'm thinking I'm so behind schedule. My dissertation was due in September, so got my ethics in July. I had to collect all my participants. I can't remember how many participants I had to collect. I think I said I wanted to collect 10, but I had to do it the right way because it's long. I can't even do any 419 business with it. I just had to do it the legit way. I had to find all my participants. Had to and because it's interviews, it's either like more time it was like FaceTime or video call or on the phone. Had to do that. Then I had to transcribe the interviews word for word. Some of them I had to travel for, so that's traveling time as well. Then after like typing it word for word, I have to now transcribe. I mean, after that, find patterns in all. It was a lot, but that's where me bringing my laptop into work every day, it helped because I was able to just get it done. Then actually type in my essay, and then in that period, I was able to meet my supervisor once, and kind of like tell her, okay, this is what's going on. Cool. So I did that. The trust that I'm in, it's associated with one of the top unis in London. So Imperial College Trust is in combination with Imperial College London University. So where my hospital, where I work at, there's a library campus there. Oh yes, I definitely signed up to that. I used all their databases, which is really good. There's more than what my uni has, so I was doing that as well. Times when I'm not at work, I'll just like, it's like I'm going to work, but I'm going to the campus, so that kind of helped. So I lived and breathed this dissertation. And yeah, and working full-time as well, you have to find balance, but then you need to also think about yourself and your health. So it's like that as well. Personal life, listen, these men are for the birds, so I just basically just dipped my head into the work. So I didn't really deep what he was doing or what was going on with him and what we got going on. So that as well. So it was a lot, but like I ended really strong. I started going to church in August, and that kind of gave me peace of mind and kind of helped. So yeah, I was doing that as well, and yeah, I found a rhythm, and I think that's what's important. As long as you find a rhythm, trust me, you'll be good. And I kind of just did that every day. Literally, I'll wake up, my laptop. I slept with my laptop near me, like that was. I'll wake up, do my morning prayer, open my laptop, and anything that comes to my mind, I'm just literally, that was me. I didn't think I would ever be that kind of person, but yeah, that was me. And then I ended so strong. I ended up getting 75% in my dissertation. The way I screamed, I really did scream. I was so excited. I was like, no, God, you actually outdid yourself here. And I think that's just got to do with just me having faith. Bearing in mind, I got my ethics 2 months after deadline. I had to get my participants everything crunch time within a couple weeks, plus juggling full-time 37.5 hours shift. But the thing is with that, because it's 12-hour shifts, you're not working every single day. So I'll be doing like 3 days a week, and the rest of the days I'm like trying to pattern like uni work. But yeah, it was a lot, but I kind of enjoy it because it kind of just gave my life a bit of an excitement, a drive. So yeah, my absolute low throughout the whole 4 years was definitely the fact that with what was going on in my personal life, and everyone goes through, because you're away, especially if you're away from home. What our family tends to do, not really deep us what's going on because they don't want to stress us out, but like from where it was like my dad, everyone knows I'm my daddy's girl, it's like they had to deep me. That was definitely a low from me, and that kind of put me in so much depression and deep depression, because I didn't know how to handle it. And at the same time, this is my second low, is when they kicked me off the course, and I had to settle to the fact that I'm going to be graduating with a non-accredited course, which is detriment to my career that I want to go into. So all of this was happening at the same time. On top of that, I was going through relationship problems. I was a pothead. I was already smoking weed a lot, but during that time I used to bill it every morning, afternoon, evening, just to numb the pain. So those lows really, like, it kind of it took over me. My high being in uni, definitely my undergrad, is me finding a church that I was grounded in. So that kind of, it kind of helped me balance a lot. And obviously my housemates, we all went to the same church, so they kind of like, I'm so grateful for the housemates that I lived in. I love Ashley and Gabrielle so much because we really did empower each other and gave each other some kind of, so that was another high. The people that I lived with, the church that I went to, you really need good people around you. For me, my church, it kind of helped. It kind of gave me some, like whenever there was something going on, I needed to make sure, even if I didn't want to go, I had my housemates there that were going, that kind of encouraged me to go, so I was kind of like forced to go. So that kind of just, me going to events and like services and stuff like that, it took my mind out of the lows. But I think going into third year, everything started to transpire into a good thing. Like, it started to become really calm. The storm started to calm down, and yeah, I think again finding your rhythm. So third year, I just, you know, I sucked it up. I said, right, cool, boom, I'm gonna graduate with this course, but I'm just gonna have to, you know, just deal with it and pattern up. And then it's not until my personal tutor said you're eligible, you can start applying for graduate membership. I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I think that kind of just gave me hope. Assignments as well, like in my third year, and I was hitting them first. It would just boost up my confidence. I was like, okay, I can pattern this, and I can apply for this graduate membership. So all hope is not gone. Cool, that guy's out of my life. Then a new one came. He's like, yeah, I'm all giddy and feeling a bit good inside. Like, he was there. He was very supportive as well. Dad's getting better. Dad's well. Everything's fine at home. So everything started to come out of its darkness. And yeah, but it was really hard at the time. 3 top tips I would give personally for undergrad. You just need to be consistent. I think that's, to be honest, that's just throughout your whole education life, consistency. Because trust me, if you keep dipping and it's not gonna, you're longing it out. So I think consistency is definitely something that you need to just stick with. Some people, I had like a friend, she dropped out, and the way she regretted it, but her vision was so short. Do you get what I mean? And it's like, that's because she didn't stay consistent. The same with another guy that I know, he dropped out. He thought like, you started uni, you're gonna be paying back these white government anyway, so you should have just stayed. And it's like he dropped out, and it was like, what am I gonna do now? Now he's thinking about how he's gonna go back. It's not for everyone. Uni's not for everybody, you know. But if you're gonna go to uni, be consistent in it. At least you finish, you have something under your belt. Not to say that if you don't have a degree, you're like you're useless. It's not even that at all. But I think just stay consistent. That's just key. You need to know what you're doing. Some people, they don't really know what they want to do. So it's kind of like, you know, when you're young, it's like you don't really know your feet, and then later on you start deep in, oh, you want to do this, you want to do that. But I think if you have a focus and you know what you want to do, stick to it. But in some cases, it's like you start doing a course and you figure out that's not what you want to do. At least just finish it. Surround yourself with good people. If you surround yourself with people that are levels and that has the same mindset as you, trust me, it will help. I had a friend, listen, the drive was real, like, and we would just encourage each other. You just need that. You can't always do it by yourself, trust me, because in my year group, especially when it came to, remember I said that I picked all my modules were psychology, so I still with my friends from first and second year. So when it came to submitting my dissertation, because we all had that kind of close-knit relationship, we all helped each other. So I submitted mine at like 6 a.m. We did the shift, 3-night shift. We all lived there. The only time we went home was to go and shower and come back. But we ate together, we slept. Listen, so I submitted mine at 6 a.m. We still had 6 more hours until it was submitted. There were some people that were stupid behind. Listen, we all just took a task. Okay, you will do the cover sheet. All right, you will do the printing. You will do. You just need to surround yourself with good people, because then trust me, that will really help. And at the end, instead of her, if she did it by herself, that girl that was way behind schedule, she wouldn't have ever passed that dissertation module, or she would have passed with a 3rd. But with the help, she literally just scraped a 2-1. So it's just the fact of just having good people around you. patience. You have to be very patient. Why I say patience is because it's such a is a level up. So you need to be patient in your learning. You need to be patient in your understanding. With masters, it's so tedious. Like the way you need to write your assignments, the way you need to understand the course, you need to be patient with yourself. Don't rush it. When you rush, you've missed everything, because the way they mark it is different. The way they teach it is different. The way they want you to write is different. So you need to be patient with yourself. With me, I was patient with myself in terms of my understanding. I needed to understand, like, listen, Wunmi, like, it's not like undergrad psychology. Be patient in how you're understanding this thing. Be patient in your independent learning. So I definitely made sure that I did everything that they asked for. Obedience. Why I say obedience is when they tell you to read, pre-read, you need to pre-read. If you don't pre-read, when they're talking and you be thinking what's going on, you're just gonna set yourself up for failure. I had to be very obedient in everything they're saying, because they know what they mean. With lecturers, they do the thing where, like, they give you the answer in such a sly way, but it's like you can miss it if you're not obedient with what they're saying. Say consistency again. I think that's just key. You need to be consistent. So with the pre-reading, be consistent in that. Be consistent in even your post-reading, because with masters, for me, it was pre and post-reading. Be consistent in that. Be consistent in how you live your life. So it's like, don't let a lot of things pile up. Be consistent in that. Be consistent in maintaining a good relationship with your supervisors, because that kind of helped as well. Because I know, like, there's some girls that are, like, in psychology final year now, and, like, there's a lot of drama that they're having with, like, their dissertation supervisor or their module leaders, and it's because you didn't establish a relationship. So be consistent in your relationship. Because I stayed in the same university, I already knew some of the lecturers, so they were my pals. So it's like, I can talk to them how I want to. I can go to them anytime, because I've already established a relationship. Next step for me is so at the moment now, I'm in the process of getting work experience as an assistant psychologist. That's one thing I didn't mention. So when I first started my masters, I managed to get work experience as an assistant psychologist. It was voluntary, but the woman that I was shadowing, she went on maternity leave, so she's back now. So just been in contact with her. So I'm gonna start that back up in April. So as well as my mental health care assistant role that I'm doing now. And then one thing with that, I really enjoy that. I learn so much because it's in a clinical field as well as working with mental health patients. I work with, like, different kind of other patients with head injury, so you deal with other things as well. So I'm gonna stick to that. Even when I can start my voluntary job, that's only 1 day a week. I'm still gonna be working where I am now. So once I do that, hopefully, when there's, like, a paid role in place, I want to start doing my psychotherapy course. And then with that psychotherapy course, it's 9 months. So you work, so you have a placement, and you go to uni, but you go to uni once a week, and you're working in your placement, but you get paid in your placement. And it's so sweet, that course, but it's so hard to get into. And the reason why it's so hard to get into, because you need the experience. So I'm trying to get as much experience as possible. So with this mental health, that's already, like, my fundamental, like, building block. Then obviously with the experience I have already with the voluntary assistant psychologist role, and that's going to start up again, that's going to help me as well. But essentially, I'm really trying to find, like, paid work. But even if I don't find paid work in the assistant psychologist field, I'm doing a voluntary one already for 6 months. So what's next for me? I just want to be a psychotherapist to help adolescents. Why adolescents? Because with adults, I work with adults now, and it's like a lot of them, they're so set in their ways, and I think if you were to nip it in the bud from a young age, it will kind of help them change their mental processing from when they get into adult. So, and plus my mentor, she deals with adolescents, so my mentor's the one that I shadow. So yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm gonna do next. So that's what's next. So thank you guys for listening. It's been a journey. I just hope everything I've said, you take it on board. What works for me may not work for you, but as long as you found your feet and you found a common ground, that's all that matters. So yeah, so good luck to everybody, and yeah, I can't wait for the future. Can't wait for it to see what it holds for me. See ya.